RJ says, can you speak on how relationships fundamentally change when the false sense of authorship is uncovered? How friends, family, or significant others may not like how it's changing because the relationship might feel impersonal to them. How can the falling away of the me not hurt familiar relationships? So this is an interesting question, because when you're talking about the me, going back to what I just said, there is the sense of the me as the one who is doing something, and then there is the sense of the me as the one who is authoring something. So these are two very different qualities of me-ness. And unfortunately, mostly they get lumped together. And so when you think of losing this sense of me, or a diminishing of the sense of me, what you're left with is impersonality. And because the whole package throws out the sense of primary identification of me. And that is really not what this teaching is concerned with. What all of the functioning of the me, the primary me, the one who is primarily identified, is not of particular import to this teaching. What we're concerned with is that false sense of me-ness, the sense of me as the author. And when that diminishes, what you're left with is a lot of space and a quality of acceptance. And if anything, I would say that the relationships have an opportunity for tremendous growth in that environment, because there's space for that to happen. It's not guaranteed by any means, because your primary nature may be one in which those kinds of relationships don't flourish. But it is the teaching and what happens in this teaching is not what you're describing. That is call that a misunderstanding of what the teaching is pointing at. And while it is extremely common, I would say it's not only is it common, it's predominant that people go through that sense of a diminution of the personal me, and that they're concerned with identification with the wholeness, the vast impersonal consciousness which all is. And when there is that emphasis on that, people get, your loved ones start to feel marginalized. Because in your mind, the others are simply kind of not very important relative to this vast ocean of consciousness, which is everything. And people feel that. And they're not misunderstanding where you're at. Where you're at is that you are less concerned with them. And in the same way that you're less concerned with yourself. But this is a stage, if you will, in the spiritual path. This is not what we're ultimately pointing to at all.
There is a sense of coming back to the sense of me. And it's almost like just a general sense. It's not even like it's moving out and doing. It's moving out and, how do you say, authoring, right? But I don't know. It feels like this is it's almost like it's at the ready, to. Yeah, it just feels like a general sense of just a general contraction of me that won't seem to open up.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm the one observing it, right? So I don't know. I feel like there is a kind of knowing that, well, this can't be me. I mean, I'm looking at it, like I'm, it's appearing in me, but.
You have reached into the heart of the dualistic conundrum, which is that there is a me and that you are aware of this me, therefore this me could not be you, and yet it is.
Yeah. In a nutshell, yeah.
Yeah, well, that is the dualistic conundrum, because it has to be processed as either or. It's either I'm either it or I'm either looking at it, and so it's got to be one or the other. But this teaching is trying to push you beyond that to the wisdom of both. That you are both. That within which the me exists and the me.
Huh. So there's no need to get rid of that me.
Not only is there no need to, there's no possibility of doing so.
Okay. Huh. Well, I don't know where I got that idea from, but.
Well, because it's written all through the literature.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I guess the instinct is to kind of allow it to kind of open up and expand, because it feels like a contraction within an expansion. That me.
it is a contraction within the expansion.
Yeah.
I mean, the me is a contracted bit, if you will, of the limitless expansion. But that is the point of functionality. That it is, that contraction is functional. It's not an aberration, and it is not the problem in spiritual terms.
Gotcha.
But it's not where your suffering arises from.
Yeah, actually, like that sense of me. It's actually kind of nice when it's not attached to. Yeah, I mean, there is a sense of me that's actually quite nice. That's. Yeah.
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 I mean, because niceness, pleasure, is the sense that I'm having pleasure is pleasurable.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
And so that's That's nice. That's certainly a wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm.
And when there is this quality of all I can come up with is spacious contraction. By spacious contraction, what I mean is that you have the contraction as the self, as the me. And yet it is spacious because it is not further contracted into a independent self.
Mm.
So in the absence of that sense of independence, there is a spacious contraction.
Yeah. That's making sense, oddly enough. Something understands, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think